like this weird competition of cool.
You take a reef shot to the side of the head for a wave like that.
If I can win this, this will be the greatest moment of my life.
All the girls are surfing so well. They're beautiful inside and out.
Going skageless is a whole nother realm, like a fast version of body surfing.
The power surfing is like a lot of that style and grace with some aggression and harnessing all of those things in one and creating your own style.
My job description is student of surfing.
Aloha and welcome to another episode of Board Stories Television. I'm Ezra Rodriguez and with me is boss man Mike Latronic. Aloha.
Thank you, Ezra. Always a pleasure to see you on the beautiful North Shore. You know, so many good surfers reside on this side of the island. And one in particular we catch up with, David and Goliath's story, Makana Pang.
Yep, we catch up with Makana Pang as he tells us a story of his journey with the beautiful connection of Bonsai Pipeline. We'll also be getting into some amazing free surfing, competitive surfing, and some legendary bodyboarding by Dave and Jeff Hubbard.
Those guys are killing it. Anyway, we're gonna get started right here, the free session at Hawai'i.
Oh, hey gang, when you guys check out the Volcom store here in Hawai'i, you can pick up a brand new edition of Freesurf Magazine. And hey, look, there's a Volcom team rider now, Makana Pang. While I read up on this young man, you guys go hear more from Makana.
get the soccer deal. I did the t-ball deal, and I mean, I never loved it. I liked it a bit, but I was always like, mom's like, oh, we gotta go to soccer practice. I was like, frick, I just want to go surf. I want to go cruise at the beach. When the waves were good, there was one specific day I was probably like 10 or something, and my grandma took me down to the surfing hole, and it was firing. I was having so much fun. I was allowed to surf for an hour, and then I was supposed to go to soccer practice or something. And I just stayed out, skipped soccer practice. My grandma was trying to wave me in on the beach, and I just stayed out the whole time just because I wanted to surf over that. Growing up, going to Sunset Beach Elementary, I was obviously around the whole surf world. They had the Pipe Masters every year across the street, all the big contests. I didn't see a future where I was going to be going off to the mainland and going to college. I only saw surfing, and I knew that somehow, some way, I was going to at least make enough money to keep surfing and not have to go work a 9 to 5 or have to go to college and try to get this big corporate job with a huge salary, you know? I was like, yeah. I put it off as long as possible, and then eventually I started making a little bit of money. Once I started getting that little check, I was like, okay, I can do this. I know I got this. And I just kept working. I got a couple checks from contests and stuff like that. And then as I got into like 11th, 12th grade, I was like, okay, I need a little more money. So instead of going and working at a restaurant or something, I started doing surf lessons. So I'd still be in the water at least. Work all summer, save up money, and then surf all winter, you know? And that's all I need. As long as I can stay in the water, I don't need to be making $1 million. As long as I can get by, I can pay for my food, pay for my gas, pay for whatever I need to survive, I'm good.
So grab your board and come and surf with me.
As many of you may know me from longboarding, here at Surf and Sea, they don't just sell longboards, they sell shortboards, bodyboards, and speaking about bodyboards, let's check out this amazing edit from the Hubbard legacy, Dave and Jeff Hubbard.
welcome back to Board Stories. I'm Mike Latronic. You know, Makana Pang's story is one of a lifetime on the North Shore. Literally, this young man's been surfing places like Rocky Point and Big Pipeline since he was 3 feet tall.
I mean, growing up, I was the smallest of the group at all times, you know. I was always getting rousted for being the grom, always getting rousted for being the short kid, you know. I mean, I didn't consciously do it, but I feel like I almost used that as my motivation to push myself and go bigger and go further. My dad never like said, oh, you're too small to go out and you can't do this, you can't do that because you're tiny, you know. My dad took me out to 10-foot sunset, me and Moana with her dad. They took us out when it was huge and we were getting 10-footers on our heads at 12 years old, you know. We never held back. My dad never held me back and I never held myself back. I kind of kept pushing and I never let that get to me too much. As I'm getting older, I'm still the small guy out there, at Pipe especially. Like, all these guys are huge and they're bigger than me, and I feel like a lot of people look at me as like I'm still a little kid, a little grom, because I'm so small, you know. But I'm in my 20s now and I'm still gonna push as hard as anybody else, doesn't matter if I'm bigger or smaller, you know.
Standing at only 5'4" and weighing in somewhere near featherweight, this young man tackles the loftiest, meatiest, craziest bonsai bombs he can get.
My size and weight can be a disadvantage at times, just because at Pipeline it's so windy and stuff. I'm light and I'm short, so I ride a light and a small board, you know, so I can get caught up pretty easily in the wind there. It's hard to get down sometimes, but being so light and like quick and stuff, I feel like my paddle power is honestly a lot better and my maneuverability is a lot better than a lot of people. I've caught in tons of waves where people are like, how do you even catch that? But I feel like it might be it can be an advantage as well as catching waves and being able to position myself and kind of sneak in and out of little situations. Also falling on huge waves. You would think that I'm so light I would get sucked over and thrown around, but I feel like I can almost maneuver underwater out of situations a little better than a guy with all this mass.
You know, the International Surfing Association is the oldest body representing surfing around the globe. Ever since surfing got into the Olympics, we have seen a greater interest in the ISA events. Freesurf and Board Stories has always covered the juniors, the World Games. We want to see how the world is doing and especially represent and showcase how our Hawaii surfers are doing. Well, we're going to see more from the ISA later this summer, but we were looking in our files and we found some great footage. So we've got a bonus segment from the ISA World Junior Competition in Brazil. Let's check that out.
And it's going to be blue up. Ryan Tynall on his third wave. First party goes to green, second party goes to... 14 clearnya, 4th wide traffic to Ryan. And that's one more ride for Lucas Skinner. First Friday green. 35 seconds remaining.
Earning your spot at pipe, it's kind of become a lost art almost in the past few years. You know, the crowds are getting heavier. There's a lot more people that are showing up that don't really know what they're doing, and they're getting their confidence from social media and saying, oh, I can do that too, you know? So me growing up, I was still in the heavy days. There was still the gnarliest guys out there when I first started. AI was still out there when I was watching Pipeline, and like heaviest guys, hugest guys, Kaimana, Henry, Ty Van Dyke, freaking Jamie, even Tamayo, Perry. All these guys were still out there every single session, and those were the heaviest guys. And if you were out of line, they'd let you know right away. They'll put you in your place fast. And growing up, I knew that. I was still watching guys get beat down on the beach when I first started going out there. So I knew I had to stay in line and show my respect. But nowadays, it's getting a little more crowded, a little more out of control. A lot of cameras around, so people aren't getting properly put in their place like how it used to be. But for me, I put in so much time. I knew that's how you had to do it. You had to put in the hours out there to get the respect. And then after you put in a certain amount of time, some of the boys would be like, oh, come out a little bit. You can sit out here now, and you got more chances at more waves. And then you show that you can make the drops and make the waves, and they say, okay, let's get you a bigger one. Nathan guys especially, they're kind of the group above me, Nathan, Ivan, Koa. They kind of always helped us in my group to advance and get better. By no means have they ever given us waves. Still to this day, the last swell at Pipe, I was out and I was sitting behind Nate, and I was like, oh, I'm in the spot, I'm going. And Nate looked at me, turned around, I was like, oh, he might let me go. And he didn't look back 1 second, and he was going straight for the burn. And I was like, all right, it's still like that. Pulled back, he paddled back out, and he's like, you really thought I was gonna give that to you? I was like, frick, I had to try. He's like, nope, never gonna happen. Catching waves at Pipe, it's calculated for sure. You gotta know where you're sitting. You gotta know where you are on the reef, and you gotta know where you are in the pack. You can get lucky, but you can paddle out there and happen to be in the right spot, and someone misses a wave, and oh, I'm in the spot. I can turn around and go. But if you're gonna get a lot of waves, you know, a lot of the good ones, you gotta know where you are, who's in front of you and who's going, and where someone's sitting that's gonna be paddling for the wave, where they might miss it. So you can maybe sit underneath, position yourself, so if they're gonna miss this one, I can spin around underneath and get it last second, you know? It's definitely all calculated, and it takes some time to learn. Every time I'm paddling out to Pipe, I'm always thinking about the risk, you know. I feel like a lot of people like are good at kind of clearing their mind in heavy situations, like all these big wave surfers. For someone like Nathan Florence or like Tori Meister, those guys go out and they look like they're not even thinking. They're just going, and they're going off instinct, and they're calculated, you know. But I feel like my mind runs a little wild, and I think about the risk a lot, actually. But once I get my first wave out there, I feel like it washes away, and the nerves get out a bit, you know? We grew up at Keiki Shore Break, going there every single day, so we were pulling into huge closeouts on super shallow sand, you know? Luckily it was sand, because we've gotten really smoked out there. But we kind of use that as almost our training, I feel like, unknowingly. We pull into closeouts, eat it over and over and over again, and we learned how to fall properly. We learned how to get out of a super square wave that's gonna crush us. We learned how to get out the back of it, you know? Compared to a lot more people, they wouldn't even know how to penetrate. They'd land on top and get sucked right over. We learned how to fall correctly and get right out the back every time, you know? I've had a lot of scary wipeouts at Pipe, and honest, I've came up pretty unscathed. I've hit my head 2 or 3 times out there. I've gone pretty flex, but I've came out pretty well, and I feel like I almost have a reputation of getting out of heavy situations, and it is art. Some people go out to pipe and they fall in heavy waves that they don't know really how to react in, situations that they don't really know how to react in, and it shows with those a lot of foreigners getting hurt. But it also doesn't matter sometimes. Pipeline is pipeline, and she'll show you who's boss if she needs to, you know. I'm just trying to figure that out right now. I don't know what's next. I just want to get barreled with my friends, really. I just want to get the biggest, baddest barrels I can around the world, honestly. I want to go on more trips. I want to explore. I really, with my surf career, I really want to bust into the exploration side of it and surfing new crazy waves and surfing stuff that people haven't been able to see. I'm not just trying to stick around pipe and be at the pipe guy for my whole life. I really want to push beyond that and see what else I can do in the world.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Board Stories Television. Thank you, Makana Pang, for sharing your amazing story.
Yeah, Makana, what a story. David and Goliath's story, if there ever was. Big inspiration. And big mahalo to the Hubbard brothers for supplying that awesome bodyboard material.
Oh yeah.
As well as, you know, that was a cool little look back for the bonus segment for the Hawaii Junior team. We're going to be seeing more from the Hawaii Junior team later this summer. But for now, that's all she wrote.